Hello there, and thank you very much for opening up this video. For those of you who don't know me, my name is Bond, James Bond. I'm a health and fitness expert based in the United Kingdom, and I'm here today to tell you of one sad fact. I hope I'm wrong, but I'm telling you here and now that England are going to get absolutely hammered in the World Cup. Before I explain why England, I think, will get actually hammered in the World Cup, I've seen some really silly things on Facebook, where on other social media, where people have banned the Union Jack flag and St George's flag for various silly reasons. And one reason they say is because the Union Jack or St George's flag may offend ethnic minorities. Now, I'm a second generation Indian ethnic minority living in the United Kingdom, and as you can see, I'm wearing the Union Jack flag. In fact, I would actually pass the Norman Tebbit cricket test. If England were to play India in a cricket game or football match, I'd be supporting England all the way, much to the behest of many second generation Indians, but that's just me. So one reason why the England players will get hammered in the World Cup, it's not because we've got bad players. We've got some outstanding players. There's no question of that. I mean, I'm a Liverpool supporter. I think Harry Kane's an outstanding footballer. It's not because of poor management. I think the England management are outstanding as well. Let me give you one reason why they're going to get hammered. They play too many games. I'm a Liverpool supporter through and through. But in the last season, Liverpool played 64 games. But just consider this, in the British Premiership, the teams play 38 games. If you're in the FA Cup, you could potentially play up to 7 games. If you're in the League Cup, you could play potentially up to 7 games again, I think. And if you're in the UEFA Cup or the Champions League, again, you could be playing up to, let's say, 12 games. Now, in one game, you're looking at running around about 20 miles in that 90 minutes. Add to that the travelling time. If you're flying out, you're jet lagged. If you're getting a coach to a game, you're going to be coach lagged. The players are going to be absolutely exhausted. Let me give you another reason. I would never in a million years do with my personal training clients what they do with footballers. I mean, footballers are paid hundreds of thousands of pounds a week in some cases, and they're bought for millions of pounds. Yet there's no way I would do with them what I do with my personal training clients. Just give you an example, and bear in mind, not one of my personal training clients has ever had a muscular injury during a training session with me. And you see, this is terrible. Imagine this, before a game, okay, the night beforehand, they need to have a really good night's sleep, okay? On top of that, the day before a game, they need to be really well hydrated. That should happen, okay? Lots of water is not difficult to do. And yes, they should have a good night's sleep, preferably in a hotel. Before a game, roughly about 3 hours, they need to have a good carbohydrate meal. And I'm assuming that would take place. And that meal should be full of antioxidants, raw fruit, because what happens is in any form of exercise, you produce a lot of chemicals known as free radicals, and they can cause all sorts of problems. And it's the only bad part of exercise, actually, you produce free radicals, but that can be neutralized by having lots of antioxidants. And if you have a good meal with lots of raw fruit in beforehand, that will neutralize them. And then basically, if you have some after a game, then that should mop up anything's left. But then what happens is the players come out before a game. Now, what should happen? Let's assume a football game starts at 3 o'clock. Round about 2:15, the players should actually come out. And what they should do a joint mobilization to get the fluid going to the joints. They should do a gentle cardio warm-up, so let's say about 3 to 5 minutes. Then they should do a pre-stretch, okay, get more blood flowing into the muscles, okay, stretch off the muscles and go to a long way to prevent injury. Very rarely happens. Then they should do a re-warm, okay, some jogging, some running for a couple of minutes, and then they should do a kickabout for a good, I'd say, for a professional football game, I'd say about 20 minutes. How often do they do that? They don't, okay? Then After a game, within 20 minutes, they need to have something high in antioxidants and high in protein, and a good stretch off and a sports massage. Let me explain why. As I said before, the human body produces a lot of free radicals during exercise, so you need to have something high in antioxidants within 20 minutes to basically neutralize any that are left. So in a best case scenario, they've had a good meal with lots of raw fruit in, with lots of antioxidants to basically neutralize any produced in game. Something within 20 minutes, something similar, will mop up any's left. Then you need to have a high protein meal. The simple reason being, after exercise, the body secretes a lot of a hormone called insulin, the one missing in diabetes. And one of its functions is to facilitate the passage of amino acids, the building blocks of proteins, into cells. So they should have something high in protein. I would recommend something like a baked potato with cottage cheese with a pint of milk, preferably soya milk, but I would say that I'm a vegetarian. Okay, and then what happens is they need to have a really good stretch off. But what do most footballers do? They get into a hot bath. No, you need to have a good stretch off. I always give my personal training clients a good 10 minutes of stretching at the end of a session. You don't have to speak to any of them. And lastly, and I cannot understand why they don't do this, a professional footballer the day after a game needs to have a deep tissue sports massage, and it very rarely happens. I can't understand why. I mean, a deep tissue sports massage will only cost about between £20 and £40, and you're looking at people who are being paid hundreds of thousands of pounds a week. Surely they can afford it. So these are my reasons for why I think England will get hammered in the World Cup. I hope I'm wrong. Nothing will please me more than to see England win the World Cup. Trust me on this. I would be very, very pleased to have to eat humble pie because of putting my foot in it. But for reasons that for my own professional experience, I suspect they will get absolutely hammered. What needs to happen is 2 seasons before the World Cup or a European Championships, the FA need to relegate another 2 teams from the Premiership. So in other words, the following season there are 4 games left to play. So theoretically, the season should finish in the last week of April. That should give the players a few weeks of rest. Once they've been rested, okay, then they can do their pre-World Cup training or pre-European Championships training, play their friendlies, and then get into the tournament proper. And then obviously they need to be rested again before the pre-season training starts. Now, the thing is, with my personal training clients, they'll all tell you this. Every 4 weeks, I rest them. If they're on my group exercise program, I monitor attendance. And yes, every 4 weeks, I'll give them a quick telephone call saying, hey, you've been attending really well. I would like you to rest for a week and have a high protein diet. Now, high protein things aren't that difficult to come by. Cottage cheese is great. But if you are looking for shakes, you can get this from the supermarket. This is the high protein which I saw in Tesco's. That's about very cheap. It's about £1 or £2. This is PhD protein. This is absolutely brilliant. I would say that I'm a vegetarian. I can't recommend this enough. This is naked protein, which I got from my local supermarket. This is about £3.50. Can't recommend this enough. And this is the Rolls Royce. Okay, this is the Benvita range. And if you look at the slide after this, you can see where you can get it. Now, these are my reasons why I think England will get hammered in the World Cup. I hope I'm wrong, but I'm going to make a sportsman's bet with you. If England get past the second stage, I'll be very, very surprised. My name's Bond, James Bond. You shaken but not stirred. Bye-bye.